Alright, unscheduled stream time. Everything's working. That is... This is taking a while. Botrix is working. That is working. That is working. Yep. Okay. It's quiet. Should I, like, do music? I don't want to get in trouble with music. Well, no, in the past I've used, like, Minecraft stuff, so... Minecraft music. What does it give me? Okay, let's just go with this. I don't know. Bot. Come on, bot. Why are the bots getting so creepy? Alright, so Minecraft music with rain. I don't know, sounds nice. Anyways, so Blender stuff. This is a mod I made. I want to... Oh, number one, the hands need a lot of work. As you can see, if I hold my hand, if I tab over to my things, I can actually see the stupid thing. Okay. As you can see with the fingers, they're not quite right. They're set up to where they're all controlled by independent fingers. So, well, yeah, so pointer, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and then little finger. And they all work in whatnot for stuff. But they're a bit off. Also, I want a third, I'm moving my thumb like it's visible. I also want a third finger on both hands. Well, 4 hands. For the thumb. So it actually looks like I can, grip things. So, gonna be trying to fix that. I'm going to pit. Where in the world can I pit this that it won't break other things? I can't even resize the box of this window. Cool. Do I want to? I have an idea as to what would allow me to see it, and that's by using Discord, which is gonna put me in a voice channel in Discord. I don't really mind. I haven't done that in a while. I'm gonna do that. Place myself there. If I turn on camera there, should it should hit the thingy in the like bottom corner or something. Should have tried to get this set up before. That's my bad. There's really nothing, is it? Advanced? Bruh. Okay, nope, it just doesn't show anything. I should have gotten this set up before starting. Why must always be dumb and not prepared? What am I looking for? I am looking for, how to get a pop out of the webcam used. I want that visible. To do that, I then chat? Does that do anything? Not like asking chat, I'm just like the chat settings. Nope, I'm not finding anything. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, find anything. Okay, cool. It pops it out every now and then. It'll just do it when it feels like it, I guess. Anyways, let's do other things. Wait. I can have this opened up in Discord, which means I can then take Discord, which is a screen I can resize, and I can do this, and then, this. Yes. Yes, that works. Okay, cool. Anyways, back to whatever the crap I was supposed to be doing. So anyways, as said, I want to work on adding a third finger to all the hands. To do that, I got to first suffer or something. I don't really know. How am I gonna do that? I've already built the model and everything. Well, first off, where do I want the hand to be. Not the hand, the finger. Where do I want the finger to be? Figure that out. Also, at any point, if anyone watching has any questions, I'll probably say this multiple times to make sure that people know as they join or whatever. That if you have any questions about what the crap I'm doing or anything else you see on screen, just let me know. Or if you'd like me to look at something else, because I got a lot of things to look at. Once I put the finger there. Let's try that. So step 1, Control-Shift-M to select the mirror things and extend it. So now I have this and the mirrored 2 at the same time. I do have 4 vertices equipped. Clicked, set, selected, whatever. Delete them. That opens up a space. Now I want to make a circle. So let's add a circle. Let's disable mirroring for a moment. And let's enable mirror. Duplicate that and mirror that to the other side. So the wrong one. Also the wrong one. Also the wrong one. This is mirroring it, right? Let's shrink it a bit. Wait, nope. I need to shrink this one. Move it to there. Duplicate it. Yeah, I want to vertex, right? Smeltering vertexes. No. Mesh. What mesh? I want to mirror. I want to mirror off of the 3D cursor, which is right there at 0, 0, origin. I want to mesh, mirror, X. There we go. Now, because these are perfectly mirrored, they should move together. Yippee. I swear I know how to do things. I just suck at doing things. Now I gotta do that all over again because I forgot a step. Because I do not want it to have that many vertices. I want it to have 8. And I disable mirroring, move to the side, shrink it a bit, duplicate it, mirror that. Oops. Re-enable mirror. That, put it there. Eventually. Stop messing around with it from there, go to median point. I've not listened to Minecraft music in a long time. It was nice. Okay. Shrink it, rotate it, double check the other side is actually doing it correctly. Yes. Put it close. Resize, rotate. Suddenly think of a better way to do this. Decide not to backtrack and do that. I'm just going to do it this way. hate the camera on this thing. I mean, the camera's nice. I just sometimes don't like it. It has oddities. But everything has oddities. I understand how it works. I understand why it works. It's just... I don't know. It would be cool if I could just mentally manipulate it towards like, ah yes, I want to move this direction. And it does. Rather than having to constantly move view. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This has just too many vertices to just clip it straight on. But it is awfully close. Okay. This is the direction I want the finger to go. Here, let's just clip it on and see what it looks like. So if I go through here, first off, if I do this like a triangle, and let's just switch to this so it doesn't look as detailed and it's a bit easier to see. That worked well. So let's shrink this a little bit. Move it to here. Expand it a little bit actually, because I want it to be the same size as the other fingers. Then we extrude outwards. Take a second ring. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go back a bit. Like that. Rotate this a bit. I was going too far too fast. Why does it look... I forgot something. Before I go any further, I need to go to the other side. I forgot to do a few things, because I have to... I'm mirroring this. I'm trying my best to not have to use the mirror function, because that would break a lot of things that I would then have to fix. There's already going to be a lot of things I have to fix, and I would like there to be less things. So do that, Control M, vertices are mirrored, which means that all of these have a mirror component, so that's all good. And then I want to extrude outwards. Now both of these have a thing extruded outwards. They do not extrude the same way. If I extrude them like this, they mirror. Okay, good. So now, as you can see, mirrored on both sides. Now I can go back to redoing this. I just have to make certain that I, every time I extrude and stuff, that I mirror it properly. Control M, mirror. like that. Appropriately mirror. Grab this, twist it a bit. Suddenly second guess myself on putting it there. That's the wrong side of the hand to have a thumb on. Delete that. Strip, just revert this. Revert. I made a mistake. That's not where the thumb goes. Both for a hand like this, the thumb wouldn't go there, and for just a regular hand in general, thumb wouldn't go there. And in both cases, that would just break things later. What if I do it there? It's a bit more centered. It's on the correct side of the hand. So what if I scoot these over just a little bit? Okay, so if I delete these two, I get a hole in the hand, add a circle, fill it in. I don't want to do that though because if I remove these faces, it would basically mean I remove this vertices right here. Yes. Remove that, gives me a hole like that. Oh, switch over to this. So everyone's flat. I just noticed this actually shows the inside too. Anyways. Circle time. Move mirror. Edit vertices. Change my mind. Enable mirror. Go to this side, do the same thing I did on that side. That one. That might also be some of the problems. All these vertices aren't mirroring. Crap! That's not good. Some of the center ones aren't even center. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, it's very much not good. That's gonna require a lot of work. Okay. How do I fix that? Well, so I'm going to have to go through all of these. Down the line. So median to 0. That's not good enough. Oh, I need 2. Okay, so step 1, go down the entire center axis. So down the center. do scale across this, and set that to 0. Now all of these should be at 0 on the x-axis. Except some of them aren't. Why are you not? I took your stupid thing and I multiplied it by 0. It should be 0. 0. No mirror editing. 0. Again, just make certain. It's 0. Now you say, tell me that it's still not 0. That's because I zeroed it to the medium. I need to zero it to the 3D cursor. Okay, do that. Set that to 0. And now they should all be 0. Yes. 0, all the way. So now I slice them off in half. Show the power of flex tape or something, I don't know. Why is that so messed? Is that even an entire... Is that, what the hell happened there? Don't tell me that I... What happened there is what I think happened there. I made a very big mistake. I made this model. Don't tell me I did. Oh, that's bad. That's gonna be real fun to fix. Step 1, I have to fix to even start fixing this. I need to go down and I need to... I am not deleting, I am hiding in the middle, so I can no longer interact with it. Okay. And those are separate pieces. Move this one's drop here. Move this one slightly to the side to indicate that it's... What the crap did I do to this model? Oh my god, that's so bad. Why is it like that? Oh wait, it's actually not to do that. Oh boy. Okay. Anyways. So now 2 halves. Hello and welcome. I have realized I made some serious mistakes when I was finalizing this model. I am now debating how I want to go about fixing this. There's no good way to fix this. So, delete that. Show the mill. I was crazy looking for a second. Yeah, welcome to Blender. Things get crazy. Okay, so that's a perfect half. So, do this. Go to modifiers. Can't do that because it's an armature. So, I do this. I go to here. Not there. I go to mesh. I mirror. Symmetries? Or symmetry, both form and topple across an axis. Yes, that's what I want. Okay. I'll clean that up later. But now, everything mirrors correctly. What's wrong with it? So, see? 2 halves, right? But if I go to select the mirror, only about half of them have an appropriate mirror. So this is not a symmetrical thing, which in some cases will be fine. In the case for this model, it is not fine. Only half of it is symmetrical, which means that since the armature is symmetrical, the one half will not behave as correctly as the other half, and weights get all screwed up and stuff. Symmetrize. Now by doing that, everything is symmetrical. Also, too, the mouth is screwed up, because I get some very gross geometry there. So I don't know how in the world I managed to get the mouth to work with it being that messed up. But that's now fixed. Wait, actually no, I want to go back a bit to that, and then I want to go to here, generate mirror, like that. Enable clipping. I don't want to symmetrize it yet, because I need to actually be able to... Another thing I was wanting to do is add a third finger to the hands, for the thumb. I don't know, I feel like I should have a third finger. And so I'm trying to do that, which to do that means I need to manipulate both sides the same way at the same time. So using the mirror modifier is the easiest way to do that. Now I want to... kind of like the two? I mean, it's fine. I wanted to kind of... Number one, adding the thumb will help with programs for doing hand tracking, as there will actually be a thumb component. It'll make the hand look a bit more correct, given the fact that this is not how my hand actually works. Also, too, I feel like adding a thumb makes it look more viable for actually grabbing and gripping things. So nothing wrong with the 2 fingers, it's just a third would help with skin weights, with armature, with programs, and make it look more grippy. Also, too, the character I technically based this off as, which I made as well, has 3 fingers. And somehow, despite using artwork I made of that character, I did not transfer the 3 fingers when I built this model. And I kind of looked at both of them afterwards, and I was like, oh, I didn't add a 3rd finger, and it's kind of annoyed me since. I want to... all of this... Ever notice that? Set this back to media point. Or box center. Finding box center is better. Wait, what will that pop up? Oh, nothing. Okay. Here. So if I rotate it like this, I now have something that's directly the same as those fingers. Just move into here. Oh, I want to invert it. Mesh mirror across the Y. Yes. And then normals flip. Don't know why those don't flip naturally when you mirror, but whatever. I think that's a good position for now. I can modify it more later. Is that fine? Crap. Cool. Not helpful. There we go. That's sort of correct. Now I want to go to sculpt mode. So first I want to select only this. Sculpt mode. And where's the setting that I thought I had? I thought there was a setting here to make it only affect. Oh, no, that's for coloring, that's not for sculpting. Sculpting doesn't have that. Okay, so now I want to go to here. And I want to... Nope. Um, nope, nope. Random. How do I make it show lines? Should be a way to make it show lines, right? Okay, guess not. Whatever. But now I want to use the smooth tool to kind of, well, smooth it out. Kind of helps with lining things up to an appropriate place. Don't worry about the texture stuff, that will be fixed later. At the current moment, to fix it all for a mesh that I am actively building will not work well. Also, I noticed too that that is not where I want to be. So let's actually just move this whole piece. I'm gonna have to redo the entire armature, ain't I? Probably. Okay, I'll make this not that bad here. Do some strength on that. Says that, stretch it out. Oh, and as I said, I'll probably be saying this multiple times, but if you have any questions about what I'm doing, just ask. As chances are, a lot of this stream is just me just going to be kind of doing. So if you have any questions, ask, whatnot. If there's anything else you would like to see, just let me know. Technically 5, because I have 5 fingers to control it. Though there is technically no limit. I mean, I already got this set up to where all 4 of these fingers are controlled separately. And for the 3rd finger on both, I'm just going to make that my thumb. And both of them just move the same. But, I guess a better way to state that, to answer that question, is... Here, if I go back to object mode, and I hide that, I have the armature here. This is all the bones and stuff that do the weights and whatnot and moving things around. I can make things move for however many bones I want to make. At the current moment, there's 86 of them. Wait, really? 86? Okay, 86, yeah. I don't know, it just seems like a lot. Anyways, no, I made the model first. First thing I made was I kind of just sculpted the model. So let's save this before I mess up anything. So effectively what I would do is I would go to here and just say like mesh sphere. Alright, so then I got a sphere. Yippee. Then what I'd do is place it up here, shrink it down a lot, and then just kind of oops. Like you just kind of shrink it down and whatnot, and change its shape. And be like, okay, that's the like spine segment. That's the lower body. Then another one, and it's like, okay, now that's going to be like the upper chest. Make it a bit bigger, move it a little bit forward. Then like, oh, and this is going to be the head. And this is going to be the arm and whatnot. And I would do stuff like that. And kind of piece it together. Let's just build like a sick man real quick. This is very poorly made, but I'm just kind of doing the point across. But yeah, so then you have like this rough shape. Then what I would do is go through it, go up to here and select intersect boolean. Set it to union, exact, and self-intersection. And that will connect all of these together while removing the empty space in the middle. So now they're all connected together in kind of one piece. And then from there, I got this. I then go to here and slap a. Then what I do is I go down the middle here. Hide that. Delete everything on one side. Unhide that. Go to generate mirror. Enable clipping. Double check that everything is clipped together. Apply. And now I have this kind of like rough little dummy thing. Actually, let's hide the armature. Wow, that looks like crap. But anyways, so then I have this, and then I'll go into sculpt mode, where I can kind of, sculpt things by manipulating the vertices in different ways. I'll go to here to remesh, select this. I will go to remesh and hit a lower number in. And now that kind of remeshes it into this like weird kind of shape thing. Also makes a lot of vertices and triangles. Turn on mirror. Kind of like smooth it all out a bit. Up the strength of smooth. Smooth it all out a bit. Lower the strength of smooth. Kind of smooth it out so it's not like a bunch of lumpy squares as bad. And then just kind of make my way down. I'll just go and do the different things and just using all the different features to kind of like sculpt it around and whatnot. And reshape it. Until eventually I have something I'm happy with. Here, let's give this guy fingers too. And another thing I do too is occasionally I'll just stretch out pieces like this. That's probably a bit too much. pull that out. Kind of shrink that a bit right there. This a bit bigger. Do the remesh thing again. Because as you can see, I don't have very many vertices here to work with. If I do this remesh, now I have more. And they're better lined up and stuff. Then let's flatten this. This is all very rushed and stuff. I usually take a really long time on this part. Especially for the models I've made. Give it fingers. Do this remesh, so I actually have more to work with. Sort of. That bird is a whole story of a headache. That thing took me a long time to make because of those feathers. Once I have something I'm sort of happy with, also I'll probably increase this a little bit more so I can actually get some detail on these fingers. Hopefully this doesn't crash anything. It did not? Okay. So there, very crappy hand made. Pull that finger up a bit. Slap it all off a good old remesh, so I have all these things lined up. Then what I do next is I take this whole thing, go over here to bisect, slash it down the middle, like that. So now all of these are just dots right down the middle at 0 on the x-axis. Hide, delete all of that, reshow, forgot a step. First, I select all, go up here to mesh, clean up, and then decimate geometry. What this does is, at the current moment, this is 100% of the 130,000 triangles. So let's knock that down to, say, I don't know, like 20,000, so 0.2. So I do this decimate thing. It kind of just tears out as many of the different vertices and stuff as it can to that percentage, while keeping as much of the shape as the thing can do. Issues with this, it sucks at mirroring, as only 2 vertices on this model mirrored correctly. Holy crap, that is bad. Anyways, if I do that, that just reduces the size of the model, because having things with like 100,000 plus vertices kind of gets annoying and stressful on the computer. So this knocks it down to like just 20%, so that's a lot more resources available. And I select all, bisect down the middle, hide, delete all of that, unhide, select the whole thing, go to here, generate, mirror. And now I have this crappy, perfectly symmetrical thing. Actually, wait, no, not for this part. I don't mirror any, actually. Keep it like that. Because then what I do is to make an actually, like, clean-ish mesh. Like, as you can see, like, for right here in the... No, I don't want to bisect it. No. As you can see, like, right here for the middle, how, like, right there, if I just click there, it's only, like, 4 vertices. 4 squares. But if I go over to this, it's, whatever the crap that is. Which is a huge mess, and makes things very annoying. So what I then do is I add a plane, move it up. Well, actually, first move it over here. Generate. Wait, no. First, switch to edit mode so I don't move the origin point. Move that over to there. Generate mirror. Clipping. Clip them together. I have this. Shrink it down a lot. And then I start to make a resculpt it again. Again, I'm kind of being quick. So I just will kind of like layer that on. And kind of just, you know, go around the outside of this thing that I made. Again, this is a very poor job, just trying to be quick. And just kind of go around it like... Then with whatever the crap that's supposed to be, go back to sculpt mode, set it to smooth. Reduce the strength of smooth. And kind of just touch it up a bit until it's the correct shape. Like that. Now I have 124 triangles of, well, so that now this 248 triangles right there, well, 124, whatever, are the same shape and stuff of this, 516 vertices. So instead of 516 vertices, I now have 76. And I still have the same shape. Also, this is much easier to work with. And then I kind of repeat that for the whole body. And just kind of like go down and generally shape it all out in such a way that it is just easier to work with. So as you can see, like where I went along the sides and then put together little circles to construct these out of circles, and then kind of clip them on and whatnot, and just kind of pieced it around thing. I don't think I have the original. Why wasn't the moth mirrored right? My theory is that like a fool, at the very end of it, I went back to here and I did decimate geometry a little bit. Or something. I don't honestly know what I did that messed it all up. But I did some sort of mass deformation of the model. Maybe I went into the sculpt mode and screwed around with something, but I don't know. I don't exactly remember how I messed that up. Why did my hand go all the way up there? Anyways. Yeah, from there, I'll just use the remeshed thing for the next part. Oops, don't want to duplicate that. I just want to apply that. It's all one thing. Swish. So then from there, what I do is I get to the armature section. Well, either I do the armature or I do texturing. Texturing is a gonna look horrible for this model. Here, to make things a bit simpler, I am going to decimate this guy further. Yippee! I can go further. Yay! Now we're all the way down to 1,000 triangles. Crap, now I have to remirror it too. Decimates your job. Yeah. Oh, I gotta show the duck that I made of where I was really messing around with the decimate geometry stuff. Delete that, like that. Symmetrize this. Yippee. Take all of this, merge it to the center. Take all of this, merge it to the center. Take these, merge. There you go. It sucks, but anyway, the next step I would then do is make a UV map. So I'll go over here to UV editing. And this is used for texturing and stuff. So at the current moment, the texture map looks like that. Very comprehensible. So what you do is you go around this, pick out certain areas. And I can mark seams on them. And now if I go to this to select by seam, and then I go to here and I unwrap it, now I got this much more comprehensible thing. And also too, you'll notice that unlike the rest of this, where you can see they overlap over each other many, many, many times, all these different faces overlapping each other, now there's no overlap. What I can do with that is then go to texture paint, new, untitled, that. Is I can add then a texture over this, which allows me, which I can then fill, which I can then draw on. Then go back over here to this guy. Go to material, add a material. So now there's a actual material going over all these vertices. Go to color. Set the color to, instead of being a flat thing, based off of an image. Based off of Untitled. Now as you see, as I paint this, it paints this. So what I can then do, I can go over here. I can either draw on it like that, or I can draw on it over here. And also color all the rest of it too, because again, the entire thing's all messed up. So now all the vertices that overlap with this blue are now blue, which is a lot of them. But purpose is, he has a smile on it. So with that done, that's how I do the texturing. I'll do that for the whole thing. I'll go around, mark seams and stuff all over it, so I actually have a coherent UV. Oh, oops. I just want that. He doesn't know if he deleted soon. But yeah, so then you have this, where things are lined up. Like, you can see, like, the wing here, wing there, the arms, the head, the legs, more of the legs, I think. Wait, is that the head? Oh yeah, that's the head, that's the chest. It makes more sense when I'm building it and don't actually have current alterations to the model to add like a whole finger, whole extra finger. But anyways, stuff like that. So I get all cleaned up to where at the very least there's no overlap. And then I can work on other things. So when that's done, then it's time for armature. Where you go to here and add armature, a single bone. Behold, a bone. Take this bone, line it up here-ish. Somewhere in the middle. We call it the hip. And then we extrude outwards to add more bones, like the spine, the upper chest, neck, the head. Realizing I'm renaming the armature and not the bones like a fool. I'm gonna go to here. I name this bone 1 the hip, spine, chest, neck, head. Then go this way with shoulder.L. Then upper arm.L. Lower arm.L. wrist. .L. The .Ls do have a reason. Hand. .L. And then here we actually do something different. Duplicate this bone. Actually, wait, no. Make another one. Duplicate it. Delete that. And now this keeps it. There are two ways to have the bones going. There's either connected, which is what I've been doing this entire time, and then there's offset, which is what this is here. It's shown by this very hard to see dot line. For simplicity, I'm just going to have one bone per finger. So it's probably going to look horrible, but it makes things a bit better. But yeah, basically you just build the bones, kind of line them up correctly. Name them all correctly. So like thumb.L, index.L, middle.L, ring.L, middle.L. Now over here we do the same thing with the legs, having it offset from the hip. Technically this hip should be a lot smaller and lower. We have upper leg.L and lower leg.L. And the whole purpose for all the .Ls and stuff is that then we can select the whole thing, go to armature, select symmetrize, and then it copies all those over. But now everything that's .L gets changed to .R to indicate that it's now the right one instead of the left one. So we got upper leg.L and upper leg.R for all of them. Then you make certain that all of them are set to deform, at least all the ones you want to deform stuff. Go back to object mode. Select the armature. Wait, no. Select the model. Select the armature at the same time while holding shift. Parent them together as an armature deform. And we're just going to use automatic weights because it's easy. It does a bone heat weighting, fail to find solution to one or more bones. Don't really care. And then what that does is it creates a bunch of vertex groups over here. So if we go to look at them, will be stuff like cool. Cool. Things are working amazingly. And by amazingly, I mean nothing worked. Why did nothing work? Okay, let's do it again. Armature deform. Cool. Why are you not working right now? Envelop weights? Is that what I need to do? Yes. Okay. So now we have like shoulder.R. So this is everything that's controlled by the right shoulder bone. Specifically, this one right here is 89% controlled by the shoulder.R and 96% controlled by upper arm.R. And that kind of balances out. I can click normalize to actually make it so it's 48% and 51%, 52% between the two. And that's now for all of these things except for some of them for some reason. Some of these don't have anything linked to them. Why is that? Okay, you know what? Deform. Let's set that to 0.1. Increase the size of that. Except that only changed it for the 1. Why is it not working? Because I don't do it with envelope weight, I do it with automatic weights. That's what I typically do. Okay, let's just quickly... Let's just get rid of all these. Reset it. No vertex groups. Go to here, parent, automatic weights. Thanks to vertex groups, it doesn't assign anything to any of them. Why you do this to me? Okay, what if I do just armature deform? Nope. Why is this not working? Okay, you know, it probably most likely worked over here on the hands. So then, like, if we go over here to back to the controlling the bones, we can then go to pose mode, which allows us to move things. And it moves all the different vertices and meshes and stuff that's assigned to it. As best as you can, if anything even bothers to get assigned to it. At least the fingers worked, but yeah, as you can see, it just kind of manipulates things. So now I can move things around, and based off of the different things and the weights they were given, they move around. This test dummy did not work very well for that. I don't know why. It's worked for everything else I put together like this. But yeah, that's how that stuff works though. So then you have that's basically the model process. Oh, another thing though that I have to work on as well is shape keys. Yes, I need no, actually I don't need lip bones. I need shape keys is what I use. Shape keys are a thing of stuff only have to make a basis. Is with shape keys you have the basis, which is this. Let's fix the pose first. Let's go here. Pose mode. clear user transforms. So what we do with shape keys is we have the basis right here. Then we create key 1. And now with key 1 active, we can move things around. So let's make him smile bigger, I guess. Yay. So then with that, we have a basis, and we have key 1. So as I manipulate key 1, the thing looks like it's talking. Yay. And we're from 0% to 100% of the transforms I made. And then you can have And you can have multiple keys at once. It's like I can select all this up here, move it up too. Now, do that as well. And I can mix and match these however much I want. And that just does like that's how the shape keys work. And that's how I do a lot of the movements that are too precise to set up with bones. Like what's called Weissmeans. Weissmeans, don't know if I'm ever pronouncing it correctly, but it's these things. Visemes. And what those are is it's basically the shape your mouth takes when you pronounce certain things. So for like the for like the English language, over here, we got like a, che, de, e, f, I, k, n, o, u, p, r, zil, s, the, and those are basically just different ways that we move our lips when we talk for those sounds. And just about every syllable, every sound in the English language uses these sounds based off of how your lips are. It was fun making it for the moth because the moth is strange. But basically, I just made a bunch of different Weissmeans. And they control how the mouth works by shape keys. And then using a few of these, like the program I'm using right now uses A, I, O, and U to create the Weissmeans, the faces. As honestly, all the others you can build using those variations of those 4. So that's how the like lips and stuff move, is via these Weissmeans. And I also have other things too, like pinning the wings down. That I made through a mixture of bones and and shape keys. So I moved the I moved the bones around to put the wings in this position and then locked it in as a shape key. That means I can just do this and they automatically move back and forth. This does not move the bones. So, jiggle physics. That's a thing in Unity, which is the next step after this. Also have a thing for making the antennas feather out. It's kind of a fun little thing I made. And that's kind of just the gist of all this stuff. And that's how that works. Save this for now. And then what I do after this is we go to Unity. Let's go to this. This is the thing I put together for Rudo, the program I'm using right now for the VTuber stuff. So let's let that load. Physics in general, yeah, that's handled in Unity. At least for the stuff I do. Like here, that stuff can be done in Blender. I don't know how to do it. I have caused the program to crash multiple times trying to do it. It is doable in Blender, but it's not the way that I do it. Also, too, a lot of programs, like for example, Rudo, VSeeFace, VRChat, those types of programs run based off of Unity. So any physics I build with, or animations I build with Blender, will not transfer to those programs. So I can just go through here and using reverse kinematics, move things around and whatnot. That was terrifying. Okay. Yeah, I forgot this thing's mirrored and not actually a whole model at the moment. Anyways. But yeah, you can do like animation and all that stuff in Blender. But anything I do with all of this won't transfer. Is Unity loaded yet? Ah, Unity is loaded. Alright. Let me switch the window capture over to Unity. Where's Unity on this list of things? Here. Yes. So this is Unity. Specifically, this is the Unity file I was using for putting the stuff together for the Rudo program. I'll just use the Slonian for now, for an example. It's like with the Slonian, as you can see, I have all these different things. This is what determines the different physics for all this stuff. First, when bringing stuff in, you have the I bring in as an FBX file because that is more reliable than bringing it as a Blender file. But you can just take Blender and just straight up throw it right into Unity, and it works for the most part. And it actually updates pretty quickly too. But I use FBX because it's more reliable for further stuff. And so when you put something in there, you select this up here for animation type, select humanoid, then configure. This shows you all of the different bones throughout the thing. And you basically build the humanoid profile from it. So for example, like the hips, the spine, the chest, the upper chest, the shoulders, upper arms, lower arms, hands, upper leg, lower leg, foot, toes, neck, head, eyes, jaw, left hand stuff, right hand stuff. And it puts it all into different places and stuff. And this is how I end up controlling things. So anything that I move with any movements I make with my thumb, I put my hand out like you can see my thumb. This avatar does not have a thumb. Anyways. Actually, let's just switch over to the Slonian at this. Give me a quick moment so I can actually, show that stuff. And then go to this and fix the camera angle. Oh, and turn on animations. That helps too. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That's everything. So now, with the Selenium stuff, as I can now actually show. So, everything I move with my thumb is affected by those thumb bones. And every way I bend my thumb, it's easier to show with the other fingers though. It's like, way I curl fingers and whatnot, make a fist and thing. That's all controlled by this avatar mesh. Other things that are done here is I have spring bones, specifically the kinds used by actually, let me switch over to this one that I actually did more work on. So here I have these different spring bones. I put them all on the base piece instead of like individually. It works. It's slightly easier to set up sometimes if you put it on the actual bones you're trying to manipulate with them. But either way, it works. Oh yeah. What the crap am I? I have so many files open. There we go. So this determines the spring bones. And like you can see that like whenever I move around here, I can also go up to here and activate the play mode, which activates animations and features and stuff like that. So then if I go to here, select the base, move it around, and see the things actually, move because of the spring bone stuff. It animates it to kind of update separately from the rest of the model. So when I move the hip, everything kind of just remains static and just moves instantly. But everything that has the spring bones kind of springs behind. It takes it a moment to update and can be affected by other physics items like geometry, collisions, and whatnot. But that's done with spring bones, which I have set up for all that stuff. That's all the little yellow circles. I also have colliders set up in some places, which is shown by the purple things. And I have specifically these little like chain link things, and the ears and this little fluff thing is actually connected to all of these colliders. So like for example, if the hand kind of breaks, but as you can see, I can actually mess around with that stuff, which is kind of cool. And I wish the hand worked, so I could actually mess around with that more. But it does all those things. You can also just determine the final location for a lot of stuff. It's like the glaive. Oh, I have it parented at the moment. So turn that off. Yeah, but I can like kind of move it around and whatnot. Because it is a separate... Well, it is a bone attached to... It's a separate bone that is not attached to the hip of the model. So it can move separately from it. However, I have this parent constraint here that locks it to a specific distance from the chest. So as the chest bone moves, which if I go through to your chest, which controls everything from there upwards, it moves with the chest. But like if I was to move the upper chest, it doesn't. And I can do all that stuff here in Unity. And also set up colors, whatnot, like different T-pose states, and adjust certain things. And set stuff up like that, and also for the different eyes and whatnot. Oh, fun fact real quick, if I switch back over... to this... looks much smaller than the Selenian, so I have to move the camera around. If you actually look closely at the antenna up here, hands work. The hands just won't even go there. Very helpful. Whatever. If you look at the antennas, since this doesn't have eye movements, I actually set the eye bones to the second bone down the antenna. So antenna 2 is actually what's set as the eyes. So anytime I move my eyes, it actually moves the antenna instead. Just a fun little thing I set up to kind of make it look different and stuff. So every time I blink also, because thing like as soon as my eyes are looking completely down whenever I blink, it actually moves the antenna around as well. I don't know, just a fun little thing. Also, too, another thing to show off is go back to Blender, which means I now have to get things back to Blender. Blender, yes. There we go. So if I switch this over to Selenian, save the modified image, sure. For the Selenian, this is a whole different mess. That's what. Number one, as you can see here, I have. That's why the moth one is messed up. That's not the finalized moth one I made. That's a different one because I updated it to actually. I did other things to it and made a separate file, and I think I loaded the wrong file. Anyways, I have two different versions: one for Quest, one for PC. Which also means I need to redo that finger and all the other stuff. Crap. Whatever, I'll fix that later. But yeah, for the Selenian, I have all the things. Don't worry about the glaive. The glaive is fine. It's just where it ends up. Yeah, but I have the different things here. As you can see from the armature, like, all of these have, for bones and stuff. Oh, that's right, because I need to set to this. I need to set to flat, so I actually have to see through. Yeah, I have different bones for all these different little links and stuff, and for the most part, the jewelry and stuff are actually separate pieces. It's like the arm pieces right here. However, they are completely linked to the arm lower.L bone. So, well, the arm lower bone. So that's how they move around and stuff, despite being a separate mesh. Is they are overlaid on top of it. And technically both of these are the same mesh, just separated out. But, the eyes are a case of... They are an empty slot. Just select everything. It's just an empty slot on the head. Then I put an orb in. Now the orb rotates. And I was actually messing around at one point, not with this model, but with another model that I kind of gave up on how to make like the eyes actually like slitted and stuff, and go back and forth. Never did actually finish that, but it was a thing I was working on using shape keys and stuff to actually alter how the pupil is. Yeah, but the eyes are just empty holes in the head that I then slapped an eye in, an orb in. And then mirrored, and they are set up with bones, Actually, bones and shape keys, as depending on the program you're using. Sometimes they use bones, sometimes they use shape keys. So for example, if I go over here to the armature, and go to pose mode, see the eye, and oops, move the eye by moving the bone inside of it. And it clips sometimes, annoyingly. Which is annoying. How did I not notice that? Anyways. And another way I did it too is by blend shapes. Not blend shapes, shape keys. Oh! This model does not have actual shape keys for looking around. That explains why I was throwing some errors at me when I was trying to do that stuff. But it does have for like blinking and whatnot. Blinking is not done by bones. Sometimes I will build bones for the eyelids to make blinking easier to shape keys easier to make, but they are just a shape key. And then all the jewelry are just like separate little pieces and stuff. And the glaze is a separate piece. Oops. Yeah, all the different things. Different vertex groups and whatnot, and all their bones. And it's all linked to a single armature, which somehow has less bones than the entire moth avatar does, despite having jewelry and other things. Yeah, but that's like how this one's made. And then another one is the demon bird thing that I made. So it loads. And as you can see from the numbers up here on the top left, this was real fun to make. 110 bones, over 163 triangles. Yippee. That's because all these feathers are three-dimensional. They are not a normal map. Which, normal maps... Oh, I should probably explain that. Wait, this one has normal maps on the arms, right? No, it does not. Does this thing have normal... I didn't put normal maps on this part because it was giving me issues. I did that in Unity. That's when I gave normal maps to this. Let's switch back to Selenium real quick. So as you can see with this like bumpy texture, that is a normal map. That is basically just a thing that determines, it's a texture file. So like if I go to here, it's, nope, that's for the crystals. That's for the metal, I believe. There we go. So it's basically just this texture right here, repeated a lot to cover the entire material space. And what makes it look like it's three-dimensional and has bumps and stuff and whatnot is actually just completely flat. It is just a completely flat mesh. It's just simply changes the colors to look like it's, to add shading and make it look like it's actually like a lot more detailed than it actually is. And that's how normal maps work and stuff. Oh, also I can show off the much better looking UV map. This is like the UV map for it. So like as you can see, like the body The head's kind of messy. The mouth, the hands, I believe, other parts of the hands, the eyes, legs, the tail. And also have it set up for like the separate thing, like the glaive, different parts of it. Yeah, just want to show that real quick. But back to the bird. What I wanted to do with this model could not be done with a normal map. So I made the feathers three-dimensional. The top is a completely flat black. Well, actually, it's technically purple, because I added some color to it. But it's a very dark, flat color. And then the underneath side is actually a full white with maximum emissions and a metallic sheen. To give it that weird, when you're looking at it head on, it's just black, but at an angle, it's all lit up and stuff. Give it that cool little like design look to it. And due to that, all the feathers had to be three-dimensional, and that was a nightmare to do. All these blue lines were done for me. If you want to see the UV map for this thing, here's the UV map for like the inside of the mouth. This is all the like claws and teeth and stuff. This is the beak. As you can tell, I kind of made some stuff to it. A bunch of other stuff. I kind of gave up on coloring. And so like this is parts of the eyes. This is the eyes. This is some of the feathers. And then this is the feathers. This is the bottom of the feathers. And this is the top of the feathers. I gave up a little bit partway through. Why does it have shading in the polygon editing mode? Because I don't know, because I can. There's different options up here that allow you to like cycle through like what's visible and stuff, and you can also open up this to determine what is shown, whether it be the texture, the material, random colors. But yeah, this is the UV map, and I don't know where are these boxes for? All these bones. Yes, bones. Through all these bones and stuff, I have it set up to where, here, let's go back to this so it's actually easier to see. All 16, 15 or 16? I think 15. All 15 of these feathers are individually set up to be moved and posed in. Except for that one, apparently. And that one, and... Wait, what? I am in pose mode, right? Am I doing something wrong? All these have weights and stuff. All these have names and stuff. Why is it not moving? Did I break something with this? Bind to object preserve volume to object types. Why is that not working? Um, wing large 1.5. Wing large 5.L. Yes. Okay. So these things are. Did I set some sort of setting? Relations. Parent. Armature. Parent type. Armature. Did that get changed somehow? There we go. I don't know how that got changed, but anyways. Hey, as you can see, like the feathers do all move, and all 15 of these large feathers move separately. So like they can all move. I am still making some changes and stuff to get everything to move correctly. But they are all completely set up. Inverse kinematics for controlling how the different things relate to each other. Where's the hand at in this thing? There's. Yeah, it's got the arms that move. Hands kind of move. Fingers. It's not the easiest to control, and I don't know the full set of controls for it. But yeah, but all that stuff moves. But yeah, but definitely the big thing about this model is the feathers. That's what took forever. So here, probably if I zoom into the inside. Let's fire color. I go to this, and then I go to material. Nope, single. Ah, yes. Here we go. Now you can see all the lines and stuff for all of these things, and all the different ways they're laid out and whatnot. And this was hell to make, and not fully cleaned up because, as you can tell from the UV editing that I did, the UV map, I kind of just gave up at a certain point. This model, I believe, was at one point over 300 or 400,000 triangles. And I had to, by hand, clean up like over 200,000 of those. Yippee! Thankfully, the automatic weight settings for the armature did actually work kind of well. So, like, give me a moment. Do that, this, that, and there we go. And so, like, for like the different ways that it bends and stuff, it does mostly work correctly. Ah, why is that on? Oh, that's right, because I forgot to go to here, select this, select that, select this. There we go. Now it should work correctly. More correctly. But yeah, so everything does work pretty well, which is cool, given how many vertices there are in triangles and crap. And I really need to figure out what's wrong with the hands and stuff. But yeah, that's everything about this model. Has a lot of stuff going on with it. Has a lot of shape keys. I have shape keys for all of the eyes being able to blink separately. Also, too, the large feathers does continue even down into the tail feathers. As those large ones can also be independently moved. As well as the tail in multiple different ways. For bending, foot moves. All the toes are connected to one, which behaves kind of weird, but yeah, that's what it does. But yeah, a lot going on with this model. This model took me a while to make. It came out quite well, though. I like it. What other fun things do I have? Oh, my duck. Other things I do too is I make some things for 3D printing, which is a lot simpler than making like models that move and stuff, as these can just kind of be very still and whatnot. But like this is one duck that I made, just a little rubber duck thing. Oops, get rid of that and that. Yeah, just a dumb little rubber duck. This is also where I started. This is also what I used for testing different ways of deforming the meshes with Decimate geometry. So like this was the original one that I made. This was me knocking it down to 25%, so the file would actually be small enough to reliably transfer to the printer and print. Knocking it down from like 5,300 triangles to 1,300 triangles helped a lot with the printer printing the thing, as it was much easier to actually modify and stuff. Also 666 vertices, very nice. I did not notice that before. And then this is what happened when I knocked it all the way down to 1%. This is a grand total of 52 triangles. I have this printed. It is, I don't really know where, but it's somewhere. But yeah, this I knocked it all the way down to 1% and then flattened the bottom so it could actually print. What happens if I slap it with a Decimate geometry again? Yes. 4 triangles. What other fun things do I have? Oh, I got this hammer I made. This is a fun little thing to make. Fully prints. Fully printable. It gets annoying at certain angles and stuff, but fun to make. Have it in color. You can't see it, but it's currently in my hand. It's a little tiny thing. I can whack things with it. And I printed a really big one, as big as my printer could go, and it actually came out to like the head was like 2 or 3 pounds and completely solid. That was a fun thing to make. I gave it to someone. I keep meaning to print another one of a giant size, just to have like a big old like just hammer. Oh, This is in Unity. Don't save. But one last thing I would like to show off and maybe do some work on. I had it saved to this. Give me a moment to transfer things. Oh, actually I need to wait for it to load first. This is a thing I technically built into the this Steven Bird avatar that I was making for VRChat. And I had a very fun project that I was working on. And as soon as I can get as soon as the Steam frame comes out and I can actually use that to test some more things, we'll be nearing completion. Come on, Unity, you can load a little faster than that. Well, I guess backstory for it is in some VRChat worlds, like especially like Hangout worlds and stuff. There we go. They have like these little pin things that you can draw with, which is always neat and fun. But the big problem with it is that you can't take them everywhere. In order to draw with the pin has to, you know, be there. And so if no pin, then no drawing. Yep, here we go. So what I did is I made a pencil that can go anywhere. And I don't really need that visible. Don't worry about all the colliders and fizzbones and stuff for all that. But yeah, has a pencil that can go anywhere. Has this little control pad, and the reason for the control pad is how about I stress my computer out even more and load up VRChat. Not VR mode. But a lot of VRChat, if you're not familiar with it, it uses different controls and stuff for avatars are handled by like all these like little dials and controls and whatnot. And is this loading? Will this just work? Can this just work? It's not wanting to work. So I'll just do this and VRChat. Yippee, VRChat. But yeah, so has the pin. Wow, that thing is vibrating. And typically a lot of things are controlled through this expressions menu thing. So like for the pencil, you can activate it. Yay, there's a pencil. And so I have a bunch of different things in here for like determining its color and stuff. So like I can make it yellow, make the line bigger. and a bunch of other stuff. And as you can see over here on the pad, actually, here, let me, I also have a thing too that drops it to the world origin, so it doesn't follow me around. As you can see right here on the pad, the width wheel, green wheel, and red wheel have all moved to match the thing. So, it can actually be directly controlled from this, and they can be directly controlled from this pad. This pad has a bunch of fizz bones in it, which is what VRChat uses for things to kind of like float around and stuff. Like the spring bones for VRM, dynamic bones for Unity stuff, spring, lots of different names depending on what program is specifically doing it, but they all do basically the same thing. But for the fizz bones, which they are used in VRChat, all of these dials have fizz bones, which can actually be manipulated. If I can get my hand to slap one of the dials, you'll see that it actually kind of turns a bit. This is much easier to use in actual VR for the obvious reasons of I can actually move my hands. Wait. If I grab these things, it holds my hand out. So then I can slap the buttons, right? Yeah, see how I can slap the buttons and they work? So now it's on G, now it's on C. Oh, apparently I saved a preset at some point. Cool. Anyways, all of these dials can actually be manipulated by any player's hands. So any player with a hand can walk up to this thing and touch all the buttons, all 8 of the presets that I added, all 4 of the dials, can grab this handle to move it around, and can grab the pencil to move it around as well. And to show that it works, if I go to debug and set it to force draw, oh no, not that. And then I have this command of do a thing, where it just kind of floats around. It draws. I can disable the wool drop to get it to follow me again. Force draw. Yippee. And it actually draws and stuff. Everyone can see this. Everything can see this. It works pretty much just like these pins do. But anywhere and everywhere, and attached to my model. And from testing and stuff, you can actually just, another person could walk up, grab this pencil and control pad, and start drawing with it. They can draw with it. They can change the colors. They can determine whether it erases or not. Whether it moves with the pencil or not. They can manipulate all of that. And it's like super cool. The only issue with it though is when it does weird crap like that jittering it's doing right now. Because what that causes is when I click this wool drop button to attach it to the wool and not my avatar so it actually stays in place and so other people can actually use it, it causes an issue where things just kind of don't end up in the correct place. I was pretty still there, so if someone else was here as well, this would probably be, in the correct location. But an issue that happens is when doing any type of loading, quick movement, or if I just activate the wool drop while I'm moving, or the pad is moving, or anything is in motion, it desyncs the locations. And as such, they can't actually grab it because it's not in the correct place to be grabbed. Oh yeah, but this was a real fun thing to make. This also took me forever. Not the models. The models were super simple. But everything else was a complete nightmare. Also, all the presets do work. So like right here, I have it set to yellow. I can set that to preset number 3. And as you can see on the pad, preset number 3 is now set to that. So now if I change all these dials and stuff, and I make it this the exact same color. No, I want 0, 0. Now it's green. So I go to preset retrieve and select 3. It switches back. I also have it changed too, to where you can change the emissions of it. So now it glows. What other things can I do with this? The issue with the glowing, though, is it everything that is drawn is affected by the emissions. So, like, for example, if I set the emission to full white, all of the lines get 100% emission. I haven't figured out how to fix that yet. But the emissions was just kind of a fun little thing. And the emissions also, too, have their own set of presets, which sometimes work, sometimes don't. But when I click off of that, actually, let's go back to this and set all the glow to 0. Yeah, but now it all switches back to, this will switch back to whatever the last color it was set to was. All the presets go back, all the dials go back, everything. It's so cool. I can also switch it to an eraser mode, to where this is all the different particles that are making up that chain. So now if I set it to force a draw, it will erase as it collides with that stuff, removing those particles. You know, sort of. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really cool thing I'm proud of. Also, too, it does have ease of use stuff as well. But if you so here it's double click, right? Double click. Okay, it should be that if you click it on and off correctly, it will switch between coloring and erasing on its own without having to use the pad. I thought I could force it with this. Oh, yeah. Also, too, messing with the dials and stuff will affect the thing. So, like, for example, in color, the glow toggle is not enabled, but if I jump around and slap that G button, I slapped the M button, which enabled the move. And what the move does is, if I have the thing follow me, all the drawings follow me. Technically, they follow the pencil. So I've had the pencil just constantly do thing. Everything moves with the pencil. So it is possible to pick up your drawing and go somewhere else. It does pick up every single drawing at once and drags them all at the same time, which can lead to some oddities. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a thing I made because, and when I do like VR chat meetups with other groups and stuff, occasionally, I haven't actually done one in a long time. Usually, I am just socially awkward, so I'll just pick a corner, sit in it with a pen, and draw something. And yeah, I got tired of not being able to do that at certain places, so I made this. Yeah. Yep. And that's because I did look around to see if anyone else made pins that can attach to avatars and stuff. And I found a bunch of things of like, oh, look, a color-changing pin that you can put in a world. Look at all this code that if you enter this code into VR chat, you can do that. What can you enter code into, though? A world. Look at this pin that I made for a avatar, but it can only draw like 2 lines at a set color, and it only works like half the time and stuff. And so I was like, this is all dumb and stuff. I don't want that. I want something that does more. So I just made this. Also, too, another issue of all of those avatars is that they completely rely upon these toggles and stuff from the menu that no one else can access, as well as it attaches the pin to the hand, and not just in, world space, so no one else can use it either. So I made this thing. I was like, this would be a cool thing. Only issues is it has a lot of issues that require me to be in VR chat, in actual VR to test, as well as I need someone else in VR and also in full VR to test. Yeah, slap the R button. Also slap the M button at some point. Also, too, with the wool drop, if I turn that off, it leaves the drawing behind. So I can just take this wherever I want. And yeah, really cool little thing. And also the dot up there at the top left of the pad is whatever the thing will currently draw. As you can tell, the color of the pencil and the color of the dot are sometimes slightly different. But it gives you a better idea of what the line will look like when it's drawn. I lined it up with this line and didn't bother to think about the fact that that line was drawn at a different color. Oh wait, it was drawn at preset number 7. So if I need to color, preset retrieve 7. Oh, 6. My bad. No, it's still the wrong color. Eh, whatever. Preset retrieve 8. Just black. But yeah, that's a fun thing I've been working on. Then if I switch back over to Unity, I can show you the nightmare that goes on behind the scenes of all this stuff. Because I built a code for this thing. Like 1,000, 2,000 lines of code or some crap like that. Wait, was it 1,000? Or was it only like... It's at least a few hundred. Probably 1,000. But a crap ton of lines of code to do this whole thing. That's when I learned you can't apply code to a avatar. You can code things for worlds, but you can't code things for avatars. So that sucked. That pissed me off a lot. So I rebuilt the whole thing. And it's all animations. All of these animations. So this right here determines everything. So this is these animations right here determine the stuff for the avatar, all the way down to eye color, and then from pencil color red all the way down is just for the pencil. All of this is for the pencil. All the parameters from this pencil active down are all variables used by the pencil. And it's a bunch of things. So, like, an example of like how it all goes. We have right here the color red. God, this is so much. I haven't looked at this in a long time. But yeah, this is everything for the color red. This right here determines the color of the pencil. Very simple. This is storing the color red for all 8 of the presets. This is the thing that will store the red and then change it around to determining whether or not it's setting it for glow or standard. So this right here, when it's active, if I set it to have the glow active, it dumps it to right here to store the value. And then over here on here. And then over here, it will move this out to here to then handle changing the color of the emissions, and all the presets for it. This right here determines what set the buttons are at, which one's pressed, and the different variations. Whether the move button's pressed, or the erase button's pressed. This determines the dial. What angle the dial is at, which is determined by things of like, is the color menu open? So if the color menu is open, it locks the dial in place. It locks the dial. Oh, I just not talk to people. You're not wrong. You're not wrong for the amount of effort I put into being able to sit in a corner and draw within VR chat. Oh yeah, a bunch of different things and stuff. Oops, not bad. Yeah, that determines all of this stuff. All of these different bones. Because all of these had to be a separate bone, by the way. I don't think this works in Quest. I think this is purely a PC thing, because it's just too much. Yeah, all of these are separate bones. Because I couldn't use blend shapes. They're all also separate meshes. Wait, are these bones? I can't remember. Are these bones or... No, those are bones. Yeah, all of these are bones. The presets are not. The presets, you just... could I make it bigger? Yes. Well, I don't have anything to make the pad bigger. But for this, I could just go all the way to the top. And, just scale it outwards. I've used this thing in VR. It is usable. It's a bit finicky. But I didn't want to make it so big that it's like obtrusive or gets accidentally knocked around. Also, let me check something real quick. Oops, I did not mean to do that. If I go into this thing and I change the size of my avatar, does it change the size of the pad? As long as I don't shove my head through the ceiling and can't see anymore. I did not think to test that. That actually... It makes the pad bigger. And I think everything still works correctly if I bump into it. I still got... Yep. Everything does still work if you bump into it. But the particles that show the current color and the presets do not like this. But everything still works. Oh, it really did not like me doing that. Oh, but everything snaps back to together correctly if you pick it up and move it. Okay, so it's not completely broken if I do that, but it does make it look funny. Anyways, back to this. But yeah, as for this, I can just make it bigger if I select the right thing. Yeah, I can always make it bigger. There's also too with the pencil. There's a lot of fun stuff going on with it too. Of pencil holder, pencil. Yep. Wait, no, that's for that. That's collider. That is the particle system. This is the fun thing right here, the particle system. And the particle system's particle system. So this is a particle system that, when activated, it leaves behind a trail of particles. I have it set that the particles do not move, so they are locked in. So their speed at creation is 0. Their acceleration at any point is 0. Their size is static, and there is a trail that is generated between them. They also have the duration of infinite. Wait, do they have a duration of infinite or just a duration of, like, really freaking long? I don't remember. Anyways, velocity triggers sub-emitters are under. The way that all of this works is it creates a. Oh no, this one is different because this creates a particle, a single particle. That is all it does. One particle that follows the end of the pencil. And that is all it does. And what it does is that particle emits particles, which then goes down to the particle emitter's particle emitter. Oh, that's right, it's set to 86,400 because it's the highest it'll let me go. So after 86,400 seconds, your drawing will disappear. I think that's 24 hours, if I remember correctly, from what I set it to. So you cannot sit in VRChat with this thing and draw for more than 24 hours straight. Your drawing will disappear. Well, in theory, it loops, so it might not disappear. It might just, like, kind of reset after 24 hours, and then you're just good again. I don't really know. I haven't, tested it for 24 hours straight. The longest I ever spent drawing in VRChat was like 6 hours one time, where I made my channel banner. It was not purposely made to be my channel banner, but I use it for my channel banner. But anyways, so what that one particle does, its whole existence is to generate particles. Those particles are then generated here, where this generates up to a chain of up to 100,000 particles that have a trail going between them and a complete movement of 0. Everything about them is 0. They are half the size of whatever the particle is that creates them. And, yeah. And then they have a bunch of different things of... this determines, like, how many it makes, how many of them, how fast they appear. Probably could reduce that to make it look a little nicer, but whatever. Their shape, inherent velocity, which is 0. They do have collisions. They can very specifically collide with a certain collider that can be activated on the end of the pencil, which is how it erases. And they also have a sub-emitter. So this particle system also has a particle system, which is why it showed the larger dots where the particles were whenever I had it set to the mode to erase. Is that it will actually show nearby particles when you're erasing. And this has a trail that goes between them all. So, and the thing is that every single time the particles is what determines, is what makes the line. So you take the pen, you move it, and every like 20th of a second, I think I have it set to, as you're moving the pin. Every 20th of a second, if you move a certain distance away, it will create a dot. And between those dots, it has a trail renderer that will make a trail going between those dots. Why is this playback thing going? Stop. 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 Anyways, but yeah, so the particles, it just creates a long series of dots and then a trail between the dots. And that's what creates the line. The line is the trail that connects the dots. If that makes sense. But yeah, but then this thing's this thing has like a whole bunch of different stuff going on. There's also the collider here, which this collider, when activated, causes the sub emitter to to activate its sub emitter, which displays where the particles are exactly, and not the trail. And then this somewhere else. Wait, where else is it? Oh, sorry. This collider. This collider, when it's within a certain... Wait, no. Crap. This collider, when it's within range of the thing, will cause the particles to emit a particle that shows where they are. And then this one has a collider that when this collider collides with the highlighted particles, it deletes that highlighted particle and the particle underneath it. And it's a huge mess. So it was a lot of fun making this, though. A lot of fun. Holy crap, I learned a lot. But I think this is actually possible for Quest, not the emissions, because Quest doesn't do emissions. But if you take out the emissions, this does actually work for Quest, as long as your model does not like completely take up everything a Quest can do. So if you have a simple model, you can actually attach this to it. And it, like, 90% works. But as far as I can tell, the only real thing outside of just like minor like adjustments and updates to it is to figure out how to stop the thing from desyncing whenever it's world dropped. Because what the world drop does is that basically whenever anything attached to an avatar moves with the avatar's origin point, which is how this whole thing works. Because like if I go to here, and then I let's see. No, I don't need that. As you can see from this lane right here, oops. This pencil and this control pad both have a fizz bone in them. That ties all the way back to, I forgot how to get that to display. Oh no, I just need to find where the, actual fizz bone is stored, right? Pencil holder. Oh yeah, so this is a fizz bone. So this fizz bone Um, ah, which is it contains these two white cylinders here, two white ones. Or the second one's kind of hard to see. But either way, this right here will connect all the way to the avatar base, which is the end of this white line. 0, 0 for the avatar's location. The wold drop makes it to where instead of it lining up to that location, it lines up to the wold's origin point of 0, 0. And it locks it to that instead. Well, it basically it stops it from updating its position relative to the avatar position, if that makes sense. And yeah, issues with that though is for moving. One of the biggest things I don't like about the pen though is holding it is a bit weird because logically it would be it's a pencil. You grab it, it has a fizz bone. So you just grab the fizz bone and you move it around and you can draw with it and stuff. But the way it actually works is you have to grab the fizz bone it's connected to at its point, and it kind of follows your hand around. It's kind of hard to explain how it works without actually being able to be in VR and like show it. But it does. But whenever you grab that bone and move it around, it's because it has a to allow it to move. The fizz bone. Line. Oh, ignore transforms of. Anyways, whatever. This thing has a maximum stretch reach of 1 million. So it can stretch all the way out to 1,000,000% its size. And it can squish all the way down to 0% of its size. I did this because if I simply just have the pencil be a bone that just kind of like sat there, it would be just locked in place, and like if you were trying to like spin it, it would just like kind of like just rotate in a sphere. That's not really working. You know, my hand doing that, the hand's kind of breaking. But it would kind of just rotate around that point of origin. So I had to add a second fizz bone for it to be attached to, so that way it can then move, kind of using that. It can kind of move around using that fizz bone as a pivot point. And then with that fizz bone being able to stretch out to 1,000,000% and squish all the way down to 0%, means that you can move as long as you do not move 1,000,000 times 1,000,000% of this length right here away from the control pad or from the wherever you drop the thing at, which is kind of hard. I'm sure it's doable on some maps or certain avatars, but it's incredibly unlikely to ever actually occur. But that's how that thing works. Big issue I don't like about it is with the way these fizz bones work, you cannot assign a fizz bone to only affect a. That will happen when the Steam frame comes out, because Valve Index is kind of really crapped out due to usage. I used it a lot, and then my brother used it a lot more than I could ever think to use it. And just due to wear and tear, the whole thing, every adjustment piece of it is broken. And it gives me a massive migraine if I wear it for like more than 30 minutes now. Due to the fact that I just can't adjust any of the straps. So it's constantly hanging like unbalanced on my head and everything. Yeah, it's incredibly uncomfortable. The joystick, the controllers have like major stick drift. Some of the buttons get jammed, the grippers don't quite work. Just the thing's seen a lot of use. and wear and tear, takes its toll. And unfortunately, it's taken enough toll on it at the moment that it's just not comfortable to use at all, and will just give me a massive headache trying to do anything with for longer than like half an hour. So I am heavily looking to the Steam Frame though when it comes out, as that looks like it will be very useful for getting a lot of stuff done. For doing a lot of this stuff. So whenever that comes out, definitely VR streams again. But I have to wait for that to come out. Which is being delayed because AI is stupid. And people spend too much money on AI. And so companies don't sell to anyone but AI people because they pay a lot. And as such, they are not selling RAM to Steam for the Steam Frame. Which sucks. So Steam just doesn't have enough RAM to actually create the Steam Frame. Which I'm very mad about. Technically, the Steam Frame was supposed to come out like this month or last month, but it's been delayed. So yeah, you can personally blame me not doing VR chat streams on AI taking all the RAM. Oh yeah, I definitely will be doing VR streams though once the Steam Frame comes out. They're currently listing it for first half of 2026, so anywhere from now to like 3 months from now. So hopefully soon. Would be nice. Because then I can get more work on this thing done. Oh, but anyways, what I was saying though about the stretch and stuff is due to the fact the fizz bones affect every child of that bone. You can't have it to like exclude. At least off of the way. Wait, ignore other fizz bones. Oh, that ignores other fizz bones. It does not. Yeah. Anyways, there's no way that I've found so far to get the to get a fizz bone to not apply its traits to certain other bones. So in order to have this one right here stretch to 1,000,000% and squish all the way down to 0%, that means the one right here that controls the actual the pencil itself, can also stretch to 1,000,000% or down to 0%. Which makes holding it very awkward and strange. I'm still trying to figure out a better way. If you grab it just right, you can basically grab the end of the first bone and kind of drag the pencil along behind. And if you grab it just right, it's like you're holding the pencil. But it's weird. Another fun thing that I had issues with too was these dials and buttons, and technically this handle as well. And that's for the reason for these like light blue cylinders in spheres is what those do is because whenever you can either have when you're making the colliders and stuff, You can either make it react to all colliders or only specific colliders. And the issue with setting it to specific colliders is I can only tie it to colliders that are in the avatar, which means other people will not be able to interact with them. So I had to make colliders that could interact with everything. But then that means if you accidentally like walk through a door or brush like anything else that has a collision, it will completely break all the dials and buttons and everything. As if you were to shove this thing through a wall, it would then collide with everything, and every single button would freak the crap out. So what happens is I put these little blue spheres over them to where those specifically only activate if there is a player hand inside of it. So only the collider that's actually like in the hand of by VRChat automatically pits in the hand of every single avatar that is uploaded. Only that collider can activate these blue spheres. After that, the green ones can be collided with anything. So as long as your hand, wherever the VRChat pits the hand collider, default hand collider, is within this blue sphere, anything that has collision, like fingers or whatnot, can move the dials. So that way the dials don't get knocked around accidentally. Yep. Same with the handle, because this control pad runs the same way, as you can see from the second Fizzbone right here that goes to the middle. It has the same thing with like the pencil of the bone that locks it to place. The bone that determines its origin point can stretch by 1,000,000 and squish to 0. And so, and that's also in the pencil as well, as you can see by the blue capsule. That's there to where you can't just grab this Fizzbone anywhere. You can only grab the Fizzbone if there's a hand inside this blue capsule. And it can only be grabbed by the hand that is inside this blue capsule. So that means if I was to grab this pin, take this pin, and walk all the way over here. Oh, this doesn't really work because that just drags it along with it. Anyways, if you were to take the pin and drag it away, this point right here won't move. So this line will just stretch all the way to wherever you take the pencil. If someone walks by, they could accidentally or on purpose grab that Fizzbone and completely break the whole thing. Well, not really break it, but cause like the locations to all get like freaked out and stuff. And so that means you can only grab it within this blue capsule. So that way then you don't accidentally grab the Fizzbone somewhere else where the pencil isn't actually at. The same thing goes with the controller for the control pad's handle. So you can only grab the control pad on this handle right here. And then all these presets are not actually buttons, they are just simply you just tap them. All these other buttons, since they are toggles, I have them like go in and out as they get pressed and stuff. But for the presets, it's just simply you just tap them, and whether it's set to S for save or R for retrieve, determines how the preset behaves. And they do have the same thing of requiring a hand to be within it. They are very small. This prevents you from accidentally hitting too many buttons at once, as you have to really try to press the preset button. You don't just press it accidentally. Despite the fact that in my demonstration I've accidentally pressed it like, what, 4 times? When I was jumping around at the pad trying to slap the dials. But it makes them makes it to where it's kind of hard to accidentally press them or press too many at once. So it's all really cool and stuff. This is another thing I plan to put up for sale at some point whenever it's actually like fully functional. Is I plan to put together a special script that will allow you to just slap this thing into Unity with your avatar, press a button, it attaches everything to the avatar for you, and then you're just good to go. You can just draw wherever you want. And if you set it up correctly, even Quest people can see what you're drawing. They can't see it glow, but they can see you draw. What you draw, as long as you're not like drawing with the glowy stuff. Emissions. That is one thing I've tried to do with all the things I created, is make them Quest compatible as well. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this Demon Bird avatar for Quest, because it uses a lot of emissions and a lot of triangles. So I'm trying to see if I can figure out how to enable it for Quest, but so far it's not. All the other models I made, though, work in Quest. Or at least they should. Yeah, this is one thing I want to get back into working on, but I don't have any means of actually testing any of the things I do. Because all I can do in VRC is just kind of poke the dials in the expressions menu, which is not how I want this thing to work. The expression menu is meant to be there as a backup, or for simplicity of the actual user, the owner. Not for the general usage of it. And then the only way to actually get the thing to move is by the do thing protocol I made, where it just kind of spins around randomly. Oh wait, where is the do thing? Selectivity, pencil do thing. Where it has two states, pencil do thing and pencil no do thing. And it just triggers the event of pencil do thing. That was very quickly put together just so I could have it spin around without having to get into VR. Oh, this is a very tricky thing I made to get it to determine whether or not it should be active in drawing. Because the way it works is whenever you press and hold the trigger, well, you have to actually, you can't fully press the trigger for this thing because that breaks how the fizz bones behave, which is how it works. It's completely off of fizz bones and stuff. If you fully click the trigger when you're handling a fizzbone item, it will pose the fizzbone, which makes things, which stops it from working, because if you pose something, it stops moving and you stop holding it. So, kind of counterproductive to using a pencil. So that was actually how I originally tried to get it to draw. Or to get it to draw a dot and then get dropped and stop working until you grab it again. But with this, I figured out how to track number one, it tracks this whole thing. What do these do again? Pencil is grabbed, pencil is remote user. So this thing right here determines, number one, is the debug I have of forcing it to be active turned on or off. When that's turned on, it goes into here, and it's forced active. At that point, no matter what you do while holding the pencil, it will draw. if it's currently not active, and you grab it with your left hand and pull the trigger, it will check. It will check how strong, how hard pulled the trigger is. If it's greater than 10% or less than 90%, it will draw. And while drawing, it gets locked into this state. So that means no matter what you do with your other controller or anyone else trying to interact with the pencil or me pressing buttons on the expressions menu, none of that will affect the pencil. It will continue to work until you let go of it. So, until you let go of it, fully press the thing, because I did put a thing in here that if it goes over 90%, it will stop drawing, as indicated by if you accidentally fully press the trigger and pose it, it will shut down the pencil, turn off the pencil, rather than having the pencil get locked in place and still active, because that would break things. So it does check for that. It checks to see if you let go of the pencil. Oh, got a blast? Oh crap, it is actually almost time for me to be in the stream anyways. But yeah, it checks all that stuff, and even checks it for other people holding it. But yeah, you had a blast. Alright, thank you for showing up. I'm probably going to be in a stream here. I've kind of talked through everything I can. My voice hurts, and it's also around the time that I usually in stream, so thank you for joining. Oh, let's close out VR chat. Settings, quit, yes. Yeah, but anyways, I've kind of talked through everything I can as far as like showing this stuff off and whatnot. Didn't actually do as much work as I thought to do. Apparently, I had a lot to show off and stuff. But crap, I've done a lot. Cool stuff though. Yeah. Thank you. Crap, my voice hurts. I really talked it dry. I did a lot of talking. Oh yeah, but that's how all this stuff works, for the most part. A lot of things going on. Oh, I forgot this whole mess of like how it actually sets the color. Oh no, that's... Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh crap, that's how it actually... I forgot that the particles for the presets are all actually the same particle system. It just moves between the points. Drops a dot and just does that like 10 times a second. That's how it all updates to the new colors and stuff. That was fun to make. Did not need to make it, but I made it. Anyways, this is gonna be it for stream today. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the things I've made and worked on and stuff. I guess self-plug, or whatnot. Self-plug, it's my own stream. Anyways, I do have a Gumroad account. If anyone's interested in looking at it, it's just flashwhatever.gumroad.com. I currently have the Moth and Salonian avatars on there for sale. I am working on getting the Demon Bird on there for sale. I'm just trying to figure out a few last things with it before I can actually like declare it's done. And this pencil control pad will be put on there for sale as well once it's actually finished. And so yeah, if you're interested, feel free to look at it, purchase stuff. Let me know what looks cool, what doesn't. And if anything is delivered broken by the stuff, please let me know. I will fix that crap immediately. I've made so many changes to these things, I don't honestly remember how the Gumroad stuff is set up at the moment, so if something doesn't behave correctly, let me know and I will get it fixed. But that's gonna be it for stream today. I don't know when I'll do another 3D modeling Blender stream thing like this again. I will probably do another one eventually. I'm just usually so either slow or so quick on doing stuff that I don't really think it's good for like streaming, because it's either going to be just seeing me bash my head into a wall for like an hour straight, where you actually don't get to see any of that because my avatar will probably just get locked in place, and nothing will happen on the screen, or it'll be a whole lot of things happening and I'll forget to explain things and stuff will just look weird. Oh, now that I think about it, I do like 3D modeling stuff. I mean, if anyone's interested in asking me to like make a thing, try to make a string out of that. But anywho, that's gonna be it for stream today, though. My next stream will be tomorrow, Friday, with Hollow Knight Silksong. Me continuing that game. Yeah. That'll be next stream. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow, join the Discord, all those things. They help out and whatnot. Also, I guess I should mention the Gumroad because that account, because it's actually relevant. Page, whatever it is, I don't know. It is relevant to the stuff because everything I've shown here is either on or going to be on it at some point. And yeah. Like crap, I could probably put my little like 3D print things on there as well. I'm just like, I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Anywho, thank you for watching. Have a good time, whatever time zone you're in, and yeah. Bye for now.